or not? Impeachment or not? The House leader is in a very unenviable position right now, regardless of whether or not the righteousness of going forth with impeachment are appropriate. It always has the chance to backfire. As a realist, I look at the odds. The odds are this: the House is controlled by the Democrats, the Senate is controlled by the Republicans, and in whatever manner may be, Trump seems to have quite a bit of sway with the Republicans. So even should the House find evidence that would be impeachable, would the Senate be a fair jury? They are prejudiced, and they are politicians looking out for their own best interests. So, the question is, if impeachment is voted upon by the House, will the Senate even consider it, bring it to the floor? And how will it reflect on the 2020 election? Will it energize Trump's support, or will it diminish it due to what facts may or may not come out during investigations? I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible and just point out facts. I do have my personal opinions and feelings, but being a realist and taking into consideration the various things that could happen and the odds, I have no idea where this may end up. But I'm afraid it will have more of a fracturing effect than a binding effect on the United States of America's citizens. And I really am not smart enough to know which route is better taken. These little talks I give are meant to be informative and thought-provoking, to get you to look at things from different angles like I do. I call myself a bit of a free thinker, and that I view a thing, person, matter, whatever, from different ways to see how things could be done, the different ways of achieving them, which may be better. I have a rather analytical mind at times when it comes to some of these things. I did some rather innovative work as a die maker. As a foreman, I figured out some writing on a wall in a control room to resurrect an old practice of mixing oil with natural gas for the furnace. And I'm just able to look at things different. I like to look at different angles, different possibilities, different ways of doing things. When I can, I like to do this before I do anything. So I would advise anyone interested to do the same. Take others' point of views, whatever information you have or think you have, and consider it. Does it sound right? Does it make sense to you? Put your natural feelings of bias aside. We all have our biases. I have them, and you do too. If you don't admit to it, you're lying to yourself. But we need to set them aside as we examine things so that we can use our intellect rather than our emotions to arrive at what seems to be the best decisions we can come to. That's about all I have to say today. Anybody watching, listening, I thank you for your time, and I do hope you will think about and take into consideration what I have said. Become a bit of a free thinker. Become innovative. Use your intellect, your brain, and figure things out for yourself. They say that a lie repeated often enough is believed. And many of us are prone to believe one person or another or an idea. But are you believing the truth or are you believing a lie? No, I'm not talking about Trump personally. The Democrats are the same way. They're playing the odds. They are working the people. They're both doing the same thing. So without passing any judgment, I just want you to contemplate and take time to think things through and examine every bit of evidence available, along with supposition. Going by the past, suppositions can be kind of critical. But you have to gauge it on the past and on what facts you do have. Not myths, but facts. who said what, when, now, before, and what they say in the future. It gives you insight as to a person's character. Mama always said, you can lock out a thief, but there's really nothing you can do about a liar. Except come to not trust them or believe what they say. So look at the facts and form your own opinions. Don't believe something just because you hear it. Find out what it means. Find out who's saying it. And if it's the same message every time. One thing about liars, they slip up. They tell so many that they can't keep track of them. And sooner or later, their stories change. That's the thing to look for. The Democrats, leader of the House, has very recently changed her opinion and what she says, or at least what she says. Her opinion may have been the same all along. Let's see how consistent everything is. Let's see what evidence, even if it's circumstantial, there may be before you make up your mind. Keep your mind open to change. I change mine very often because I realize that my thoughts were incorrect earlier. I've had 70 years plus of living this and learned a lot. And that's what I'm trying to reach out and tell people. From my experiences, from what I have learned, to pass it on to you so that you can pass it on. The best way to think things through, just as my prior messages were to try to get you to think as to the reasoning and the logic. Keep the emotions at bay as much as possible, and let your intellect lead you to truth. Goodbye for now.